What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass cylinder breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and this week I'm joined by Chris Abacow.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be
What's
back.
going on? So Chris is back all week, ladies and gentlemen. So you'll see his face in the bubble, which I love that we had the new thumbnails.
Right.
So definitely continue to tune in. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursday will be a throwback, so it'll be an older episode I like to highlight. And then Fridays, everything else, the movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I'll jump right into the article. So this one comes from RochesterFirst.com, which the article is entitled "Funding to Allow RIT to Bolster Cybersecurity Around Rochester," written by Adam Chodak. So with this article, so we're talking about Henrietta, New York. So with the growing threat of cyber attacks, local groups, businesses, and school districts can now expect more help in protecting themselves. Google announced Friday it's giving $500,000 to the Rochester Institute of Technology, so the school can send more students out into the community to strengthen cybersecurity. So I wasn't aware that this was a thing. So it's kind of like the clinic goes out to schools, it goes out to hospitals, it goes out to the local community, and they help them with their cybersecurity. It gives the students hands-on. So we always talk about, like, how do I get 10 years of cybersecurity experience of I just graduated, or I just got out of, or you know what I mean? Like, so in this case, they're getting hands-on practical experience. And Google was funding it because they liked how Rochester was performing their clinic. Full transparency, I'm from Buffalo, New York. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, Rochester's doing something pretty cool. Rochester's right next door. I actually applied to RIT way back when. I got one of those thin letters back, you know, the ones where it's like, unfortunately, sorry to inform you.
We
Not getting
love
accepted to
your we
RIT.
love your credentials, but sorry to inform you, right? It's a
But how do you feel about this, Chris?
I think it's a fantastic little bit of news because we've seen all this news about there's such a skills gap in cybersecurity. I mean, even recently, I think I've read that companies are failing to close the Skype cybersecurity gap, right? We're talking, hundreds of thousands, even potentially up to, hundreds of thousands of jobs within the sector. In the just at least talking the United States, there's a lack of cybersecurity professionals out there. And then, but this claim, I mean, yeah, it's a $20 million charity by Google, which doesn't seem like a lot, but at the same time, it's something that can empower local communities. Specifically in the article, it states at law schools and medical schools, right? So they're empowering professionals from other professions to have at least put cybersecurity in the forefront of their thoughts, right? Specifically with the hacks with hospitals and all these other things going on in the environment. This is a wonderful little bit of news that I think should definitely be more embraced throughout not just Rochester Institute of Technology, but throughout the United States. And it'd be kind of cool to see RIT become kind of the cybersecurity hub of at least not New York City, but all of New York State as a
Right,
whole.
the state
Just
of New
kind of,
York, yeah.
yeah, just kind of seeing that, and then hopefully, other states can model themselves after this. Hey, we want to run clinics, we want to go out and provide this service to people, but it's also cool. The way I understand it is that it's students learning cybersecurity and then maybe reaching out to those companies, or giving them a little bit of credibility. They have this training, sponsored by Google and things like that through the faculty of RIT. But then they could take that knowledge and kind of put their faces out there. Hey, company, I'm working in cybersecurity. I'm a cybersecurity intern. I'm looking for internships, things like that. I think stuff like this is definitely a nice avenue of approach for getting the young kids out there into cybersecurity, not just us that fall into the DoD and have cybersecurity built into our daily lives as ITs and the DoD. And I definitely think it's something positive and something that I hope to see more across the US.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you were trying to jump into some kind of specific track, right? Like you want to be a pen tester or things of that nature. Within the article, it says Google says part of the reason that they're spending money, sending money to RIT, is because of the clinics work with the local school district. In quotes, it says that school district said that the penetration testing the students gave was the most exceptional services that they had ever received from a cybersecurity organization. And this was from Mob Ibrahim, Google's Google.org cybersecurity lead, right? So Ibrahim says RIT students can also connect with Google employees to learn more about cybersecurity. So it's not only a hand up to the organization to give them the tools and resources to continue to go out into the community, but also it's a pipeline, right? So now they have the ability to extract more services and training from Google, make those connections, right, at a very early age, and then maybe perhaps funnel into either Google or like you kind of alluded to, Chris, where they have their face out in the community. And like, if you need a pen tester or you need a consultant, well, you have this, you know, recently graduated student who can provide these services for you. And we've experienced their service. We know how they do business, and it just helps to bolster that portfolio, which is sorely needed, right? Because everybody's trying to break into cyber, but they don't exactly know how. Well, here's another avenue to break into cyber that's being funded by $1 trillion company, right? Through a very prestigious institute. Again, I applied. You guys did not accept me. My GPA was trash. I'm not going to lie to
I,
you.
I think also I think also the fact that it's kind of fostering mentorship, and
Right.
that within the community itself. We have mentors in sports, all these people to look up to and everything on all these other um I mean in the media you got
Right, right. You
doctors,
don't you don't think
and
about pen
whatever.
testers. You're like
Yeah,
the local badass pen
yeah,
tester.
right. Your local pen tester guy that's,
Right, right. You're like,
like they have this image of the pen tester being some guy that sits in, mom's basement, right? But that's not necessarily the case. Pen testing, yeah, it's very technical in its field, but it's also a business, right? Like, remember, cybersecurity is a business process, right? The technicality of it, yeah, that exists, but understand, especially for those trying to break in, think about it more as like a business need versus something technical. And I think that a lot of people get wrapped up into the technical and then it makes them not want to pursue cybersecurity. They all think, oh, I don't want to be doing coding. I don't want to be doing this, right? But it's not necessarily the case. A lot of cybersecurity is in the business field, right? So I think it's that they're building out these mentorship programs and building out really the confidence within the students to do their job. And that's where I really think the value of this is. It's the mentorship and the exposure to these companies.
yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I hope this continues to grow and be done elsewhere. Like we alluded to, or not alluded to, what we directly talked about weeks ago, where Apple is doing something with the HBCUs and trying to build a pipeline and kind of finding their way to campuses that normally wouldn't have access to these $1 trillion companies. Apple's doing it, Google's doing it, Microsoft's doing it. Um, all within the states and internationally, right? And we talk about this week after week, how there's the security gap just here in the US is 700,000. Just think about the world, right? So it's good to see these initiatives continue to grow. And hopefully people will see it and then, think about a different path, right? Like, well, I was going to be this or I was going to do that, which is a saturated market. However, there's opportunity here in cybersecurity, and I can start at an early age, kind of like the meme with the kids in the hard hats and the vests at the construction site. Like, how did you get 10 years of experience? Well, I started when I was in third grade. So it's good to see such an initiative does exist. So I'll keep my eyes on it and then probably circle back to it as it continues to grow, right? And then it's local news from home, which I've not been there in a decade, but still, it's good to see. Like I like to see the growth happening there, especially post pandemic, right? Because the state got hit pretty hard, like most states. But continue to tune in throughout the week, so you can find Chris Abercon via LinkedIn. We'll have his links for you. Hit up the website hit up all the websites that go by our name. There you go, Rusty. And then you can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe, stay secure.